Hello, we're on to our second substitution lesson now, and during this lesson we're going to be looking at using more than one letter for substituting. Okay, so the maths that we do will get a little bit more tricky, but not much, because we're going to stick with small numbers for now. So we'll be able to manage this just fine. So a quick look at our learning outcomes. Remember what we did last time was we looked at using letters as well as numbers. We looked at the basic rules of algebra. We looked at the vocabulary involved in substitution. That was term, expression, substitute, evaluate and variable. I'm going to recap that in a minute. And we started substituting to find the value of a term and the value of an expression. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is really practicing these two here. Substituting to find the value of a term and substituting to find the value of an expression. We're not going on to much more complicated expressions yet. That'll be for the next lesson. So we're going to recap what these things mean. Okay, so remember a variable is a letter. So what we'll do is we'll write some examples of each thing as we come across it. There we go. So an example of a variable would be A or X or V or any letter we like. A term is just a single item that can be added or subtracted. So for example, we might have 3A or 5t or x squared. They're terms, or 3c squared, for example. An expression is what we get when we put these together. So, for example, 3a plus 5t is an expression. X squared minus 3c squared would be an expression. Now, when we substitute, we're swapping out the letter, remember, for the number that we're told it's worth. So when we're substituting, we are given, for example, a equals 3 and asked to find the value of 4a. Now, if we're asked to find the value of 4a, what we're doing is we're taking out the a and we're swapping it for a 3. But that does not mean 43, remember, because when a letter and a number are stuck together like that, remember that means 4 times a. So it's 4 times 3, so that would be 12. And what we've done there, we have evaluated our 4a term there. So when you're evaluating something, you're finding the value of it. You're finding out what it's worth by substituting the value for your variable. Okay? So you can come back to that again if you need to, but we'll keep using those words as we go through the lesson. So we're going to practice what we did last lesson now. We're going to use the value x equals 8, because that's what we're given, and we're going to evaluate the following. So remember what we just said there. When you've got a number and a letter stuck together, that means that they're multiplying. So that means 5 times x, and straight away we can see again why I do my x's curly, so they don't look like a times. So it's very clear that that's a times, a multiplication sign, and that is an x. So remember x is 8, so we're going to do 5 times 8, which is 5 eighths, work it out, 40. Good. All right, next, x add 3. So we can just swap out, remember what we're doing is we're swapping out the x for an 8. So we're working out 8 add 3, so that's just 11. Then we're up to something a little bit more complicated. There's a couple of steps in this one. So 4x, remember, means 4 times x, and then we have to take away 2. So we've got 4 times 8, and then we're going to take away 2. So what's 4 times 8? Go up your 4 times table or your 8 times table, and you'll find that's 32. Take away 2. Oops, that was not a good 0. And that leaves us with 30. Okay, the other ones. 20 minus 2x, that means 20, take away 2 lots of 8. Okay, now remember we have to find 2 lots of 8 before we take it away. It doesn't make sense to do 20 take away 2 and then times it by x, because that 20 is nothing to do with the x. So we need to work out the 2 times 8 is 16. So we're doing 20 take away 16 is 4. Next, 10x divided by 20. So remember, 10x means 10 times x divided by 20. So we're doing 10 times 8 divided by 20. So 10 times 8 is 80, divided by 20 is 4. There are 4 20s in 80. And then the last bit here, x squared, remember, means x times x. So we've got 8 times 8. Who can remember what 8 times 8 is? 64. Okay, so that was just a quick recap of what we did yesterday. If you felt like that went a little bit too quick, then feel free to just go back over this bit again, watch this bit again. It's only a couple of minutes, but if it's going to help you, it's worth spending the time to do it. Now, moving on. Often we need to work with more than one variable. Okay, so before we've only had to substitute the value of one variable. Now, we're just going to jump straight in there and go for 3. So we've got A is 3, B is 4, and C is 5, and we've got various things to evaluate here. So first of all, we're just going to bash on. I don't think we need to give this any special treatment because you've got all the skills you already need. So if we're evaluating A plus B plus C, then we've got to just substitute. So remember, A is 3, we can see that. So A plus B plus C. What we're going to do, let's do it on the question. Swapping out the A for a 3, swapping out the B for a 4, and swapping out the C for a 5. So what we're actually working out is 3, add 4, add 5. And we could write it just at the side, 3 add 4 add 5. And then when we work that out, 3 add 4 is 7, add 5 is 12. So there's nothing very complicated there at all. So when we go for this now, next one, 2a plus 10b, we need to do our swapping out again. So remember, A is 3 and B is 4. But remember, when you've got a letter and a number stuck together like that, it means times. So what we're working out is 2 times A, which is 3, plus 10 times B, which is 4. So in other words, we're working out 6, add 40, so that gives us 46. So just remember, when you've got letters and numbers stuck together like that, you have to work out the value of that bit and that bit before you can add them together. Okay, next. A plus 2b take away C. So A, remember, bring it back, is 3 plus 2b, that's 2 times 4, take away C, which is 5. So what we've got here is 3, add 2 times 4 is 8, minus 5. So 3 add 8 is 11, take away 5 is 6. All right, a couple more to do here. 5a add 10, 2a add 10. So it's 2 times 3 add 10. So 2 times 3 is 6, add 10 is 16. And then the last one in these set of examples is 5c, so that's 5 times 5, take away 13. So we're doing 25, take away 13, 25 take away 13 is 12. So we can see when we're using more than one variable, our job's not actually really any more difficult, is it? It's not more complicated. All we're doing is the same as we were doing before, but we've got to do a little bit more of it. So what I would like you to do now is pause the video and try these questions. Now, the further down you get, the more work you'll have to do, because we can see that these ones nearer the bottom have got 3 terms in them. So from down here, we've got 3 terms to deal with. Okay, so I would like you to look at the information that we've got. So the information that we've got is here. That x is 4, y is 2, and z is 3. And we're going to use that all the way through these questions. I'm putting big arrows to that because you're going to need it all the way through. Okay, so I'm just going to pick one to do as an example with you just now before you get started. So we're going to go for number 7, 5x take away 3y. So 5x, I'm just going to put it up here so I've got space. So 5x would be 5 times 4. Take away 3y, so that would be 3 times 2. So 5 times 4 is 20. Take away 3 times 2 is 6. So it'll give you 14. Okay? And I do want to see you writing down some working for these. Don't just want to see the answer, because if the answer's wrong, we won't know where you've gone wrong. So take some time now to work through these. Okay, and here's your answers. So you can work through those, check everything that you've done. Alrighty, now we're going to move on and look, there's a little bit more algebra that we need to learn now. And we've looked at when you've got a number and a letter stuck together and said that that means times. And that's also the case when you've got 2 letters stuck together. So AB means A times B. So whenever you see 2 letters beside each other, maybe X, Y, it means X times Y. Okay? So A squared B. So remember, if you just look at the A squared, that means A times A. Remember? And then there's nothing in between that and the B, so it means times B. So whenever things are stuck together, then multiply them. So ABC means A times B times C. And the 3AC, again, they're all stuck together. So 3 times A times C is what's meant there. And then 5BC, same sort of idea. They're all stuck together, so they're all times. So 5 times B times C. All right, so whenever we see either a number and a letter stuck together or 2 letters stuck together, it means that they need to be multiplied. Now we're going to practice that a little bit. So find the value of each term or expression when G is 2, H is 10, and I is 4. So here's our information that we're going to use. So G plus H plus I, we're just substituting, remember, so we're swapping out the G for a 2, the H is a 10, and the I is 4. So we're doing 2, add 10, add 4 is 16. Now we've got the situation like we were looking at a moment ago where we've got 2 letters stuck together. So remember, GH means G times H. So it's 2 times 10, which is 20. We don't ever say that GH, you just stick the numbers together. It's not 2, 10 like that. That is not it at all. In fact, I'm going to erase that because I don't even want it on the page. Okay, remember when there's 2 things stuck together, they're multiplying. Okay, so GI means G times I, doesn't it? So GI is 2 times 4, which we know is 8. Now we've got a slightly more complicated expression here, 3GH. So that means 3 times G times H, and we're adding that to 5 times I. So 3 times G times H is 3 times, so G is 2 and H is 10, plus, then we need 5 times I is 4. So altogether, 3 times 2 is 6, times 10 is 60. And then 5 times 4 is 20. So we've got a total of 80 there. A little bit more to do. GHI, need to get the values back. GHI means G times H times I, which is 2 times 10 times 4. So 2 times 10 is 20. And 20 times 4, got your 20 times table, 20, 40, 60, 80. Now 3 GHI, look, we've got 4 things stuck together here and they're all multiplying. So it's 3 times G times H times I. All right, so 3 times 2 times 10 times 4. So actually, when you're multiplying, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. So we can do whichever's easiest. But we'll just do it left to right and we'll see where we get to. So 3 times 2 is 6. Times 10 is 60. And 60 times 4, if we go up 60 times table, it's 60. 120. 180. 240. So the answer here is 240. And now the last one of these practice ones, 2HI, so that's 2 times H, that's 10, times I is 4, plus 5GH, so 5 times 2 for G and 10 for H. So here we've got 2 times 10 is 20, times 4 is 80. And then we've got 5 times 2 is 10, times 10, so 10 times 10 is 100. So 80 add 100 is 180. Okay, so now we are ready to be able to work these out ourselves now. Okay, so now we can see we've got very similar things to what we've just been working on. We've got our values here for our variables. So A is 3, B is 2 and C is 5, and you've got to work out all of these things. So take your time, no hurry. Remember to write down what each one means before you do your substitution. Okay, so pause the video and try those. Remember, if you're stuck, nip back into the lesson or ask an adult who's nearby. And here are the answers. If any of those surprise you or you're not sure where we got them from, then please just ask. Okay, so that's all we're going to be doing this lesson. So we know where we're up to. I can substitute to find the value of an expression. We're still there, but we've been substituting more than one value, haven't we? We've done everything above that line. And next we're going to look at evaluating more complex expressions by using substitution. And some of those will have brackets in. So you might be able to do something like 3a bracket b minus 5c. Okay, so we'll deal with that next time though, not to worry about that just now. So well done, and I'll see you soon.